Media Network. My name is Lily, and I'm here with Emily, and we're going to talk about being a hall host. So, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, like your major and everything first?
Yeah, hi, my name's Emily Cerlanti. I'm a junior, I'm a nursing major, and I'm from Chaplin, Kentucky.
Awesome. And so, you're a hall host, right?
Yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit about what that's like?
Yeah, so we have a few different roles as hall host. The first is obviously giving tours. We work the front admissions desk. We work pretty closely with the counselors and people like that. And we also host things called overnights, which I think are pretty looked over.
Yeah.
It's pretty much where prospective students come and they stay in our room. We have a big social, and then they'll stay the night in our room. They wake up and they live the day as a night. So pretty much they go to classes, have meetings with professors, have meetings with like the Student Activity Center, career development, all those fun things.
That's so cool. Yeah. So, as a hall host, what would you say are some of the pros?
I've met so many awesome people through this program, and you really make connections because I've met so many people in my major just in the hall host program, as well as just getting more of a wide variety of learning about the different majors because I wouldn't have even thought about some of them. So it's really cool to really learn about that.
Yeah, that is so cool, being able to get so many different perspectives and figure out people that are all at your campus that come from so many different places, you know? So what would you say, kind of contrastingly, what are some of the cons of being a hall host?
Yes. So you become so close with these people, and as part of the leadership team, it's kind of hard to make that balance between work and friendship.
Right.
So it's just kind of hard because as LT, we have to do different things like run socials and have meetings. So it's kind of hard because it feels like you almost have to be lenient towards your friends, but you don't because, yeah.
Well, that is really interesting, so for anybody watching, why would you personally say that somebody should be a hall host or be interested in that type of a role?
Yeah, it is such a good way to be involved on campus. You get to learn about all of the different resources we have. I wouldn't have known about half of them if I didn't learn the tour script. And it's just a really good way to meet people and get more of those perspectives.
Yeah, that's really cool. So kind of going off of that, what would you say are some misconceptions about the role that people that are interested in applying may want to know?
So I don't think people are really aware of the overnights. They probably think we just give tours, and that's not the case. We do have to work 6 hours a week, which is really lenient, and I really appreciate that. But usually we give 1 to 2 tours a week, and then the rest of those hours are working the desk and including in the overnights. Those don't include in our hours, but that's a big part of our job as well.
Yeah. So, just kind of remembering all of the different roles and responsibilities that you have. So kind of going back to the campus tours, I know that sometimes for people that can be like a lot of pressure, but how would you describe your first one? Like, did it go smoothly, or is it normal for people to kind of make mistakes in the beginning and then get better as they go on?
Yeah, so I had kind of a special case. My very first tour ended up being a backwards solo tour.
Oh.
So it was something happened with my tour partner, and my boss was like, "Are you ready to give your first tour solo?" And I was like, oh my gosh, not really, but I was very nervous, but also it went as smooth as it could go. We like to tell our new hall host that they don't know what you're supposed to be saying, so as long as you sound confident, this prospective students don't really know the difference.
Yes, like as long as you sound like you know what you're talking about and it's pretty accurate, like it's probably fine.
Yes.
That is something probably good to keep in mind. Would you say that this role is something where you need to be like adaptable and be able to kind of mold to certain situations?
Yes, absolutely. So there was just a case yesterday where we had a really big school group. They brought 70 students, so it could be really overwhelming. We had 4 tour guides for the tour. However, we didn't have our trolley, which usually takes us around Barchtown Road, and that's kind of our set routine. So we actually had to do a backwards walking quad tour. That way we didn't run into each other with all 70 students.
Right.
So you do have to be adaptable, and you have to be willing to move things around, but the team has done absolutely wonderful with that this year.
That's great. Yeah, so what are some other skills besides adaptability that you think that people who are interested in this role should probably have if they're going to apply?
Yeah, so I would obviously say communication. Like, that is your biggest thing. And I think we have some introverts on the team, and it has really brought them out of their comfort zone. So you definitely have to get a little more comfortable with public speaking and talking to people. And you, once again, have to be adaptable. You have to be willing to work with your team. And I think one of our big things is making those friendships. That way you can tell. It's like almost a tour chemistry that you have to get with your friends. And that way you know your friends outside of the tour, and it makes it so much smoother along the process.
Yes. So kind of going back to what you just said about like how there are some introverts and this has been a good opportunity for them to get out of their shell, would you say that as well to the people watching? Like if you're looking for something to kind of get more involved and make some friends, get out of your shell for people that are more introverted, like this may be a good option for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a wonderful training. We have like 3 days where we're just going over tour after tour after tour, and you really get familiar with it. I did not think I'd be ready, but obviously I was thrown into that solo, and I knew all the information. So once you're trained,
and the training is like good and thorough and everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Yes, I love it.
Yes, that's awesome. And so how would you say that the adjustment went from just, again, kind of back to what you were saying earlier about just doing the tours to adding on to those additional roles of hosting the overnights and all of that stuff?
Yeah, so I kind of had that misconception as well that we were just giving tours, and then once I entered the process, I absolutely fell in love with overnights. It is so fun getting to connect with prospective students. I've made so many friends through it. I'm still talk to some of our overnights from last year, so it's super fun.
That is great. And so how has your role shifted from last year as a hall host and now this year being on the leadership team?
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot more commitment, but that was definitely something I was signing up for. I wanted that leadership role. I wanted to be able to work with my peers closely, but still be able to effectively run the program. I really wanted to help improve our program, and I thought that would be a wonderful way to hop in and help.
Yeah, like if you have certain ideas that you'd want to see play out, that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so how do you get on the leadership team? How does that work? Do you apply? Are you nominated?
So you apply just kind of the same way you do as entering a hall host in general, but you just go through, we have our boss Michelle and then the person under her, which is Haley, and we went in there, had an interview, pretty chill and relaxed, and they just ask a bunch of different scenarios and questions just to see if you're fit for the role, but that's just kind of how it works.
Yeah. And so tell me about like a funny or good memory that you have looking back on your years as a hall host.
My favorite thing is our socials, and I'm kind of biased because as part of the leadership team, that's my role is to do them, but I think it brings our team so close together. This year, we went to Huber's, and that was really fun. And then last weekend, we did like a Dipsgiving. It was like our take on a Friendsgiving.
Oh, yeah.
And then we also did Dancing with the Stars.
Oh,
so to see all of our friends come in together, and it's like we don't just work together, we're actually friends, and you can tell.
So for the people that are interested in applying, like, would you say that there are lots of opportunities like that where people like are able to connect with the team aside from just working, and you really do build a community and like a family almost within that hall host leadership team community?
Oh yeah, 100%. So for people who don't know, all the hall hosts live in the same hall. We're on the 3rd floor of Anniversary.
Okay.
So we're just all neighbors, and with all of those trainings and socials and meetings, you truly do become a family, and it's like my favorite part of the team.
That's awesome. And so would you give any advice to those watching that may be interested in applying?
Yeah, absolutely do it. It's so worth it. You meet such amazing people, make wonderful connections. You can even do some networking. I've had some prospective families come in as nurses, and they're like, oh my gosh, you should work here. So it's like a lot broader than just a job.
Yeah, so it really can like take you, build relationships that can last a lifetime and take you further in your life and your career.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And so for those watching that do want to apply, how do you do that? How would you go about that?
Yeah, so you go through our common leadership application, and it's on Engaged.
Okay.
So you just go in, you fill out a few questions, and it's actually, you can apply for multiple roles. So if you're interested in resident assistant, hall host, all those fun things, it's kind of like a 2-bird, 1-stone type of deal.
Okay, so it's super easy. Just anybody can do it. You don't have to get any permission or...
No, you do have like a couple like like a GPA requirement,
Okay,
things like
gotcha.
that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really easy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Of
much for
course.
sharing all of that. Hopefully, we'll get some people watching that are
Yeah.
interested in applying. Again, thank you so much for coming
Of course.
on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for everybody that watched. Hopefully, there are some people that are going to apply to be a hall host after this. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching. Bye.